So now what we need to do is that we need to make this employee form functional, the edit employee form, so that the user will be able, and you will be able to edit any information about any employee you have in your system. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to here, first I'm going to change the form action. The form action should be something else. So here I'm going to say edit employee. Instead of create employee, it should be edit employee. It should be edit employee. And another thing that we want to do is that we want to submit the ID with us. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pass the ID. So I'm going to create here an input here in this below this h1. I'm going to say input, and I'm going to say here value. The value is going to be equal to double curly brackets, and then I'm going to say employee ID, employee.id. And I'm going to also give it a name here. I'm going to say name. The name is going to be ID. The name is going to be ID. And I'm going to say read only. Read only. This is very important because the user should not be able to edit the ID. The ID should be unique. And if you give the user the ability to edit the ID, the system will be ruined, and many users will have the same ID, and this is gonna just ruin your complete system. So the input should be read only. It should, again, I'm emphasizing this because if you allow the user to edit the ID, it's just gonna be terrible for your system. And now we need to create the edit employee URL and function. So in the URLs here, I'm gonna say comma and then path. And then I'm going to say edit employee and then comma and then views dot edit employee and then name. The name is going to be edit employee. And finally, we need to create the function that employee that's going to be used to handle submitting the new information. So in the views here, I'm going to create a new function. I'm going to say here, I'm going to say def edit employee, and then I'm going to say request. And in that request, what we want to do is that we want to get the information that the user is going to submit. So to do that, we need to use if statement, and then we need to say request to check the information, to check the request method. So if the method is passed, we need to use the same exact type here, or the same exact code here. So here I'm going to say dot method. So if the method is equal to post, if the method is post, then we can proceed. So if the method is post, I'm going to say request dot get, exactly like this, dot post dot get, and then we need to get the ID. We need to get the ID and then store it in the ID, and then we need to get also the name. Name is going to be equal to request dot post dot get name, and then we need to get the email request dot post dot get email, and then we need to get the job and the salary. So here job request dot post dot get job and then salary. So the salary is going to be request dot post dot get salary. And now you need to pay attention to what I'm going to do, because this is going to be different from creating a new employee. Now we are editing an employee that already exist in our database. Therefore, we need to get the old information. We need here to get old info, and then we need to edit the old info. So I'm going to say here employee, and then the employee is going to be equal to employee dot objects dot get pk primary key and then ID, and then we want to edit the information of that employee. So I'm going to say employee dot name. The employee name, the old name, is going to be equal to the new name, and then the employee email, employee.email, is going to be equal to the new email. and then the employee job is going to be equal to the new job, and the employee salary is going to be equal to the new salary. And finally, I'm going to say save. I'm going to say employee dot save, and I'm going to redirect to the, I'm going to say redirect, I'm going to say return, and then redirect to the index. And in case the user goes to this page without using a post request, we need to also to redirect here. We need to say return redirect to the main page. Let me now save and let me head on over to the browser to test. So in the browser now, let me refresh. Let me edit information about Mark here. Let me here refresh. And let me here click on edit. And then here, by the way, it's going to display here 9, but you cannot edit this 9. Let me push this before I test. Let me push this a little. So I'm going to say in the edit employee info,